So you're sitting in a movie theater. The trailer's just ended. You just got done watching the super cringy ad for whatever theater chain you're at, right? And it's time for the movie to start. And you know you're really into it when those studio logos hit. And some of them hit pretty hard. Let's go ahead and rank some of those movie studio opening logos today because, I don't know, I think it's fun. All right, let's get started. We're going to start off with Universal. I love this logo. It just feels epic, like when it's getting started. The music is so great. I just love the image of the letters just coming across the planet. It really puts you in a mood where you think like, okay, this is something special. So yeah, this one's top tier. Then we got Amblin Entertainment, right? This is going to be tied in with Steven Spielberg. You're going to be seeing this one a lot on his movies and everything. I like E.T., so this one does kind of go pretty high for me. If you don't like E.T., I guess it probably wouldn't. Or if you don't know what E.T. is, it might just be like, well, why is that kid riding a bike? Are there people like that at this point who are just like, why is that kid riding his bike in front of the moon? If there are people like that now, I just feel, it makes me feel older than I already did. But I put this one in A tier. I like it. Now, DreamWorks is a little tricky, right? If it was classic DreamWorks where just the kids sitting in the moon and fishing, yeah, that's good stuff. But I don't know if you know this or not, but they've updated their opening logo and I'm not a fan. I don't like how it's like kind of weaving in and out of all of their movies. I'm sure there are some people who do enjoy that, but I'm just like, let's keep it classic. Let's keep it timeless. I'm sure that this is going to contradict something I'm going to say later on in the video. The music in it is still good and everything, but you know, it just doesn't compare to that old one. That old school DreamWorks would have been pretty high up on my list. This one though, I'm putting in D tier. Paramount's logo is pretty good. You see it on a lot of Nickelodeon stuff. You get to see it on Mission Impossible stuff. But here's the thing. For me, I've always associated this with the Transformers movies. Well, not always. Well, since they've come out. For whatever reason, that's just what my brain thinks of. And I can't shake it. I'm A tier for this one. I do enjoy it, but it's not one of the top. Warner Bros. Is another one where it's been changed semi-recently. It's no longer the gold and the blue, which I was a big fan of. Definitely enjoyed seeing that, especially because I saw it as much as I did growing up watching all those Batman movies. But the new like white or silver, whatever it is in blue, I just think it's boring looking. It looks low effort to me. It doesn't quite, I don't know, stand out in a way where the gold and the blue ones did. I'm going to put it C tier. Now, New Line Cinema, though, this is pretty good. Hasn't changed that much over the years. I love the way that it looks like film stock. I just think it really just says, hey, this is a movie. And I don't know, for whatever reason, I enjoy that. Tied back to Ninja Turtles for me a little bit too. And what it reminds me of, another one that I watched a ton as a kid. The Blue Glow also is just, it's good. It's a B tier. We got DC. So we got DC's logo, and for me, it's just kind of bland, right? The logo itself is one of the more boring versions of the DC logo that we've had over the years, but then also like the versions of the superheroes that you see as you're flying by are just such like cardboard cutout versions of them, and that's just because that's what DC has. They don't have like a super memorable version of anybody that they could put up there. They put up like 8 versions of Batman is what they could do, and then Harley Quinn. That would be their like these are the most memorable characters that we have. So you know, I don't blame them for going comic booky more so with it, but yeah, it's a D tier for me. Then we get Walt Disney Pictures, and I like the new one. It's pretty good. If this was like classic blue on blue, it'd probably be a little bit higher for me, but not much. I mean, it might not even get out of A tier still, but this is A tier for me. It just kind of, you know, is what it is. It's Big Castle and it's Disney, and I wish we had more Tinkerbell instead of it just being like a little dust thing flying over, but I'm not going to complain too much. Somehow I forgot to record this one while I was going through, but just real quick to mention with Disney animation, I like this one. This whistling gets stuck in my head like a lot. It's fun that it pays tribute back to like really early on Disney cartoons with Steamboat Willie being here and everything. Something about the way it's framed and everything makes it feel pretty small. I don't know. That's kind of a turn off for me. I think I give this one a B. Now with Pixar, I think it was novel at first, right? To see the little lamp, he's coming up, he stomps on the eye, and he looks at us like, oh, what did I do? And it's like, I've seen you do this 1,000 times at this point, but it's not funny. It's not cute anymore. It's old hat. You need to maybe update it. For me, it's B tier. 20th Century Studios, formerly 20th Century Fox, man, I'm glad that they kept this as close to the old one as they used to, so I could still talk about this version of the logo. I love it. I love the spotlights. I love the music. Same guy who did the music for Matilda, he did the music for this, just so you know. It's a shame that you don't get to see this on more movies nowadays, now that they're just kind of like second tier Disney movies at this point. Plus the memes of like the kazoo versions of this and everything are pretty good. Then rounding out that Disney stuff, we got Marvel Studios. And here's the thing. This is just so much better than DC's. It's malleable, right? It's adaptable. You can change it and have it be, different for each one of the heroes. But even if we're just talking about the standard one, it's just so good. The music is very memorable. And so as soon as it gets started, you're like, oh, okay, I know what this is. Marvel's going to be in that B tier. And now we get to Sony Pictures. Sony by itself, it's bad. It's just the word Sony. It barely even has any like background stuff on it at all, like colors. I think it's just really not good. So I'm putting F tier. Now, when Sony, though, moves into being a Columbia Pictures, I like it a lot more. There's something about her that just makes me feel like I'm in a good spot. Maybe we go back to Ghostbusters. Maybe that's why it's the nostalgia for that one. Again, I think the music does a lot, but I'm going to put this one in B tier. Another one Sony can turn into, doesn't very much anymore, is TriStar, right? And it's even better than the lady holding the torch because it's a flying horse, guys. It's a Pegasus. That's awesome. It really just seems so majestic, right? With how it's running up there in slow motion and everything. And I might not like it as much now that I feel like it's computer animated as opposed to a real Pegasus, a real horse at least. So it's still A tier though. I like it. I like it a lot. That's going to bring us into A24, modern horror like itself, right? And I think that this logo does a good job of kind of just showing what you can expect with these kind of movies. It's simple. It doesn't do anything too showy. And I like that about it. I like the colors in it as like the lines are moving in. It allows the sound from the movie to kind of start going and really just laying the tone too. So if it's not going to be big and epic, I think this is a good way for a studio to do things. But that all being said, it's still like whatever. So C tier. Then we get to MGM, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. It's got that lion, right? And the lion's awesome. Again, suffers now from being a computer animated lion, though I understand. Probably not nice to make the lion have to stand there and just growl a bunch. So we don't do that anymore. But I do still think this one is pretty fun. It seems real old school, like compared to most of the other ones. It's got like a look that isn't trying to be overly modern or anything, which I think is cool. I'm going to put this one in S tier. Now we get to Lionsgate, and this is the only one we're going to look at two separate logos for a single studio, just because there are like two set ones for types of movies with them. I really like individual, like customized logos for movies. I'm sure I'll make a video about that at some point. But today we're just really trying to focus in on, just the standard ones. But we're going to talk about Lionsgate. Let's start off with their normal, average one. It's kind of cool how it has throwbacks to the old Lionsgate logo too, where it's like the lions and the stars and everything, but it looks fine. It's fine, but it doesn't do anything for me where I get that pumped up just because I see it happening. This is a D tier. But then we get to the horror one, and I really kind of like this. Like you get this one from a lot of like those Saw movies. That's where I'd be seeing it the most, or most people would be seeing it. And it's all like the rusty old gears and cranks and going. It's cool. I like this one a lot, and I like the color with it a lot more. There's a lot more going on with like the red and everything, as opposed to just like the black and the blue of the original one. Like with this one, it's going to be a tier up from the original one. I'm going to put it in C. And that's going to bring us to our 20th movie studio logo of the day, our last one that we're going to be talking about, and that's going to be Blumhouse. Now, I know that I said that I didn't like that DreamWorks kind of was showing all their different movies. Blumhouse does a similar thing where you get callbacks to different movies as you're kind of pulling through this woods and this haunted house and everything. And I like it a little bit more here than I do with DreamWorks. It's still not my favorite. It's very busy. There's a lot going on. Like if this is going with like audio from the movie under it, it would be pretty distracting. So overall, really middle of the road. I'm going to keep this one in C tier. So that's going to wrap up my thoughts on these movie studio logos. Hey, what's your favorite one? Is it one I covered here? Is it one I didn't? There's a lot out there that I didn't look into, and it's definitely something we could spend some more time talking about in the future. Are there any of these you'd be interested in learning about the history of? There's some pretty interesting stuff when it comes to all of these, and just comes to their progression through the years and just how they've got to be the way that they are today. And so that's also be a fun thing for me to look into. So if that's something you'd like to hear about, let me know in the comments below. Thanks so much for stopping by. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Bye.